gave him permission to drive off the property.
I never gave her permission to drive the car, period.
You don't have to. You gave them the method. You gave them a car with the keys in it.
The keys are always left in the car. Because we live out in the middle of
nowhere. Miss Moore, there is something wrong with you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Wendy Moore says homemaker Nelda Bailey owes for her son's medical bills and car repair bills due to an accident caused by Nelda's deceased daughter.
Madam, there is something very wrong with you because other than saying to this lady, I know I can never make it better. And I have my son, who looks very healthy to me.
Going through physical
Just a second. Just say, who looks very healthy to me. He was able to come with you to court today, and he doesn't look like he's missed a meal. Other than that, I would turn to her and I would say to her, I can't tell you how terrible I feel that in my home, in my car, with the keys that I leave in the car, your daughter met such an early death. Instead of saying that, you sue her for the damage to your car. You're an idiot. Judgment on the counterclaim for $5,000. Your claim is dismissed.
I just want to plead to parents when you're in a party environment, keep an eye on the children.
Perry Ann died because she made some very stupid mistakes.
No one should leave keys in a vehicle. I don't care where you live.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Valerio versus Gunderson, step forward.
Customer service rep Summer Valerio is suing fellow dog owner, 21-year-old customer service rep Gabe Gunderson for vet bills. Summer says Gabe's pit bull attacked her dog.
Ms. Valerio, you claim that the defendant's dog injured your dog during a fight.
Yes.
And you want the defendant to pay the vet bills.
Correct.
Dog. Mr. Gunderson says that there was a dog fight. Your dog got the worst of the fight, and your dog shouldn't have been there anyway. So you'll explain that to me. What kind of a dog do you have?
She's a Mastiff Lab mix.
That's a big dog.
Yes.
And where was the dog?
In March of 2004, I made arrangements with Janice Rawson to keep my dogs at her house because she just bought a house, and me and my boyfriend at the time broke up, and I was moving into a condo and didn't feel it was fair to take my two large dogs to a condominium with me. So she agreed to keep the dogs, and I continued to pay for their food and their vet bills while they were in her care until I made new living arrangements.
Just a second. So you left your dogs with this lady
Yes.
in March. Step up. What's your name?
My name's Janice Rawson.
You have a large piece of property?
It's a house with a yard.
You have your own dogs?
No.
What kind of dogs? One was a Mastiff mix, and what was the other?
Pit bull boxer mix.
Also a big dog.
Yes.
Who else lives in your house?
At the time when I moved in, it was Jeffrey, her now husband, and Dustin.
Jeffrey, her now husband.
The
Valerio.
boyfriend I had
I'm sorry.
separated from. And when we got back together and got married. But it was a temporary separation. He was living with her, with the dogs there at the time.
Oh. So not only did you place your dogs with her, but you placed your ex-boyfriend there too.
Yes.
Now, tell me about Mr. Gunderson.
Mr. Gunderson moved in with me when
So
Summer...
did you rent rooms?
Yes. I have a 4-bedroom house.
Okay, so you rented a room
Yes.
to them. Okay.
Mr. Gunderson moved in with me when Jeffrey moved in with Summer, and they got married, and then I rented a room to Gabe.
So Mr. Gunderson moved in with a...
Male pit bull.
So now you have 3 dogs.
3 dogs.
Is that the dog that injured her dog?
No, that's a separate dog.
Well, where did the separate dog come from?
We went on vacation to San Diego. We were told by
Who's we?
Me, Janice, a different group of friends of ours. We were told by Jeffrey before we left on a certain date the dogs would be gone. We get back from San Diego. I pick up the dog who got
Picked up what dog?
The dog that's the reason why we're here. The one that attacked her dog.
You mean a second dog? You picked up a second dog.
Right. Picked that dog up. I got home, found out that Jeff and Summer did not live up to their end of the bargain as far as taking those dogs back like we were told.
Well, why did you need a second dog?
I asked Janice, I wanted a female so I can breed. I asked Janice, she said that'd be fine.
Is that right?
Yes, but the condition was that he could only get the second dog when her dogs were gone, and it wasn't an exact date of when they were going to take the dogs back. It was a hopeful date. So he should have made sure that the dogs were gone before he actually picked up the pit bull.
Well, he didn't. So on what date did you pick up the pit bull?
October 9th,
And what date was this fight that caused the injury to Miss Valerio's dog?
on the 28th, same month.
So why didn't you tell me how to get rid of the dog?
Well, I like dogs, and it's not, and the family who had the dog before couldn't keep the dog, and so it didn't really have anywhere to go back to except for the pound, and I didn't want to see that happen, so...
Okay, so you allowed him to keep the dog there. Fine.
Yes.
Now tell me about the fight.
My other witness here is the one that broke up the dog fight and basically saved my dog's life.
Is that right?
Yes.
Good. Between the 9th of October and the day that this happened, did you visit your dogs?
Yes, and I actually, a couple weekends prior, had taken Justice to my house for the weekend. I would take her sometimes for 3
So
or 4
you
days
knew
at a
he
time.
had both dogs there.
Yes, but I did not know that that dog had a history of being aggressive. He, on the other hand, did.
Were you home when Miss Valerio's dog was injured?
No, no.
You were? Step up. Tell me your name. Miss Rushing, you may sit down.
Noelle Cook.
I'll hear you.
Okay. I was at home and I just heard the dogs fighting in the backyard, and I went to look over the fence and I saw the dogs, his female and kind of his male. His male kept coming in and out of the fight. They had her dog pinned on the ground and basically tearing it apart.
And I have pictures, Your Honor.
I'd like to see.
And also her vet bills and her medical records.
I'd like to see the pictures first.
If I may say, the vet did say that the only thing that saved my dog's life is the fact that she's 90 pounds. If she had been a smaller dog, the injuries would have killed her.
Mr. Gunderson, you understand, sir, that sometimes pit bulls have been known to be aggressive dogs. Is that right?
Yes, that.
How did you find out about the dog?
They lived actually across the street from a friend of mine. I've seen them before. Saw an ad in the paper. I called them and found out that it was the same people. So I've talked to them. I've seen the dog before. Been around the dog before. Wasn't a big issue.
Did they have children?
They have one kid, yes.
And they felt that the dog was not appropriate to live with these.
Well, they have 2 other dogs.
Look at
and,
me.
They have
They
2 other
felt
dogs.
that the dog was not appropriate to live with them. Otherwise, what reason do you have to get rid of a dog?
Yeah, well,
If you have other dogs, it's not an allergy. Is that right? Mr. Gunderson, pay careful attention. I'm very smart. This dog, you knew that the dog had some problems. Is that right?
right.
Who do you think is responsible, therefore, for a dog that has had certain problems in the past when the dog attacks again?
The owner of that dog.
That's you. You were aware of the dog's previous problems with the prior owner. Why you would choose to take a dog that had had problems, I don't know. And why you would choose to breed a dog that had prior problems, I for sure don't know. You have an answer to either of those questions?
I knew about the situation. I explained to Janice before I even got
I'm
the
not
dog.
talking about Janice. I'm asking you why you would choose to take a dog that had problems.
Because it had nowhere to go, so I took it.
And why, if it had nowhere else to go when you know the dog has certain character problems, why would you choose to breed a dog like that?
It's one fight. I didn't think it'd be a big deal, to be honest.
Now you know better, right?
Yeah.
Good. Now I'll see the vet bills. That was easy.
Your Honor, each page is an individual invoice. The total actually came to what I wrote on the front. And she had to be kept in the hospital for 7 days.
Do you understand, sir? We all make certain choices when we get a pet. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to choose a pet that doesn't have violent propensities. You chose a pet that you knew had had problems enough so that a prior owner was looking to get rid of it. You took it. Not only did you take it, but you made a choice, because one of the reasons that you told me you chose to take this dog is because you wanted to breed it, to propagate whatever character flaws that this dog had. That is stupid. It's going to cost you $2,455.50. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. Please step out.
I was shown that I'm wrong in this, even though I had nothing to do with this.
When you choose to own a dog that has aggressive tendencies, or any animal for that matter, you're responsible for its actions.
When I came home from work, my neighbor's standing in my driveway with blood on her.
The defendant actually called me saying that his dogs were attacked.
My dog also got hurt.
She just finally healed. It's taken a month and a half.
Pit bulls have a bad name for themselves because of how their owners raise them.
I don't think the breed's bad. I think it depends on how they're raised, and if they're not socialized with other animals and people, it's gonna take its toll.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Power versus Power. Step forward, please.
Homemaker Mary Power is suing her daughter, administrative